We are officially halfway through the year, so it's time to talk about some stash tracking. Hi friends, welcome back. I'm MC, and today we're here to talk about my yarn and fiber, I did that backwards, yarn and fiber stash tracking. I have been tracking my stash for a couple of years now, very intensely, and I have so much fun with it. If you're not into tracking your stash, I've said this before, and I'll say it again, that's fine. If you don't like tracking yours, do what makes you happy. This makes me happy. So I have a lot of details about all of my stash, and what we're doing this year is quarterly updates. And honestly, I don't know what is going to happen moving forward for this stash tracking. We'll talk about it a little bit at the end of the video, but first, let's go through what happened in the second quarter of the year. So April, May, and June of 2026. As a reminder, I started the year with 42 skeins of yarn. Now those are 100-gram skeins, mini skeins, whatever. I just count a unit as a skein. So I started with 42 skeins, totaling 12,680 yards and 4,247 grams. So last time, we had basically hit my goal of getting down to 30 skeins in my stash for the year, and I wasn't sure how I wanted to proceed, but very quickly the universe decided for me, because I just hit myself in the face. I had a couple of things. We have a theme in April that happened because I brought in a skein of this yarn that was named Spring Blush, and this was hand spun by the owner of Madison Wool, and I loved this yarn. I was very into weaving in April. Still want to weave with this, but haven't yet. So I brought in this. This is a bulky weight yarn, and it is 84 yards. So that is one skein that came in. And then I was gifted this yarn by my friend Christina, which was so sweet. There was in April the Little Wolf Knits Wolfpack Retreat in New Jersey, and I went, and Christina brought this yarn and said that she thought of me. So I think this is so sweet. It is the colorway Fantasia from Post Yarn. It's so fun. It's just got like every neon color speckled on it that you could ever think of. And this is a Targhee sock yarn, and I can't wait to play around with it. It feels great. I love Targhee. Love it so much. So this has 465 yards and was once again one skein in. Then, sorry, I'm gonna just kind of organize things as we go because I don't really have the space around me. Standing up here so that you can see my yarn, it's hard to have piles around me. I didn't really think this through. It was nice when I was in my old office and I got to sit on the floor in the yarn closet. This is hard. But anyway, 3 more skeins came in April because I grabbed 3 skeins to make the Dopamine skirt by Chelsea of Knitting Tipsy with my No-Do DK in the colorway 3-way Calling Attack. And if you are looking at this and saying, MC, doesn't actually look like you've put in your elastic waistband and woven in the ends yet. Yeah. I don't want to talk about it. So that was 5 skeins in the month of April, and that was a total of 1,287 yards and 515 grams. Actually, the Post yarn, this Targhee, is 115 grams, which is really cool. So that was 115 grams in April. Out in April, I literally can never remember if I do each month in and out or if I do all the ins and all the outs, whatever. Out in April, what happened is that I used this skein up here. I'm not gonna take it out. This is a Karen Funfetti cake, and I used it in a weaving. So there's quite a bit left over, but the way that I count things is as soon as they're used, they're out of my stash. Scraps not scraps, because there's quite a bit left. Leftovers is a different category in my mind, and we're probably going to tackle that someday. I'm not a big leftover user, so I don't really have a plan for that right now, but we'll deal with it when we get there. So that was one skein out using the Karen Funfetti cake in a weaving. And then obviously, as you saw, because I made the dopamine skirt, I used 3 skeins of 3-way calling attack. So those were 3 skeins in and 3 skeins out. And then one more thing that I did is I couldn't find it for a second. I made a weaving to be with the intention of having it be a wall hanging. This is a skein of caracal that I spun during the Tour de Fleece, I think in 2023? 24? 23? 24? I don't know. But I made this as a wall hanging. And if you're looking at this and going, MC, there are still ends on that, and you have said that you were gonna mount it on a canvas, and that doesn't look done yet either. Shut it, okay? This is my house, my rules. I can do whatever I want. Sorry for getting so defensive. Anyway, in April, I ended up with 5 skeins out. So I ended up having 5 skeins in and 5 skeins out. This totaled 1,097 yards and 657 grams. Moving into May, I brought in 2 skeins of my No.DK in the colorway Bob's Your Uncle to make a hanky-tanky, which I ended up casting on. So this is gonna come back in a second. So that is 2 skeins that came in May. I'm trying to get things to balance on the chair that's next to me. This is not easy. And then I was very, very kindly gifted yet again. These wonderful people love me so much, and I love them as well. My friend Wendy went to the Fiber Wish Festival in Salem, which I was supposed to go do, and I got sick and it was horrible. But Wendy got me some yarn, this sock set from Dragon Horde Yarn. This was one of the show colorways. It is called Kraken Kissing Booth. So I count this as 3 skeins in because it is 1 full skein and 2 minis. So that counts in my book with my way of tabulating things as 3 skeins. So that means that once again for May, we had 5 skeins come in, and that was 1,139 yards and 340 grams because we had the 2 minis. So in May, like I said, I already mentioned that I had 2 skeins come out for my hanky-tanky. I only have the back panel done. I haven't touched it in quite a long time, but that's 2 skeins out. And then I grabbed another 2 skeins of Dirty Mardi Gras from Whimsy Stitches to make an ingrain shawl, and I am so close to being done. I just have this many live stitches left, and I have to, what are you stuck on? What are you stuck on? I just have to finish the little point at the end. So this will probably get done, I don't know, today or tomorrow. So that is another 2 skeins out. So that means that it is now on the floor. And I removed in May 4 skeins from my stash, which totaled 1,278 yards and 400 grams. I'm sorry, I feel like I have a really chaotic energy today, and I swear I actually did sit down and make a plan for this video, but it's all just coming out in absolute gobbledygook chaos. But, you know, that's what I offer all the time, pretty much. Anyway, moving into June. June is a pretty easy month in terms of my yarn because I brought in 1 skein. So whenever I turn fiber into yarn, it is removed from my fiber stash and added into my yarn stash. So I made this core spun yarn. I do have a whole vlog about how I made this, And this is using the colorway Fizzy Lime from Frabjous Fibers. And this was one skein of bulky weight yarn. That is 88 yards. And in June, I removed nothing from my stash. I was just working on finishing up other projects. I was working a lot on the ingrain shawl. I was working a lot on my Harla quilt, which I can officially say is now completely done. And I am working on finalizing the pattern, so very excited about that. But I started nothing new in June, so one skein in, 88 yards, 100 grams, nothing out in June. So now we get to talk about the ultimate yarn stats of where we are so far this year. So I'll remind you that I started with 42 skeins, which totaled 12,680 yards and 4,247 grams. And once we add in what I just talked to you about of my ins and outs for the second quarter, I have brought in this year 18 skeins totaling 5,375 yards and 1,782 grams, which is wild because I honestly, I feel like I haven't bought much yarn. I guess I've made some. Maybe? No, I don't think I even have. I don't know. I've been gifted some. It seems wild to me. Oh, you know what? Because I've grabbed stuff from stock to make samples or designs, or I've dyed stuff up for myself so that I could make some design. That's where it's adding up. And by knitting alone, I have not destashed a single thing. That's not true. Knitting, crocheting, and weaving alone, I have removed 27 skeins, totaling 8,958 yards and 2,819 grams just this year. So that means that I am at currently 33 skeins, totaling 9,097 yards and 3,210 grams. So I'm actually higher than I was last time, which is the fault of my lovely friends. I'm just kidding. I was gifted 4 skeins, basically, because I count the minis as skeins. I was gifted 4 skeins this quarter, and otherwise I would still be underneath my goal of 30 for the year. This is not a complaint. This is not a complaint in the slightest. I am so grateful and I love my friends so much, but this is just an explanation of the fact that sometimes plans can change, you know? I didn't have plans to increase my yarn stash, but the universe did, and that's okay. I'm totally okay with that. It's not the end of the world for me to have a few extra skeins in here. I love them. They're special to me, and I'm really excited to work with them. You know, this doesn't feel like some of these skeins that I've kind of had lingering around for a long time, and I've been mulling over what I want to do to them. No, this is a rejuvenation and a freshening of my yarn stash, so I am totally fine with the number going up. Now we finally get to talk about fiber, which we didn't discuss in the last quarterly check-in for my stash because I had nothing new to add for the first quarter of the year. I had some projects that I was working on, but nothing was started or finished in the first 3 months of the year, so there were no new stats to report. So, to recap where we were at the end of 2025, I had 42.3 ounces of fiber in my stash. Fiber is so much easier because I just go by weight. So we were at 42.3 ounces. And then April happened. And like I said, I went to the Little Wolf Knits Wolfpack retreat. But before I did that, I went shopping and I bought this Fizzy Lime that I ended up turning into yarn already. So this was 4 ounces of Blueface Leicester from Frabjous Fibers. That was 4 ounces in. And then I added some Little Wolf Knits fiber because, I mean, how could I not? So I have things very precariously stuck in here. I got 4 ounces of Tramonto on I just had trouble reading this. What is wrong with me today? I have the giggles. Oh my gosh. Make it stop. I got 4 ounces of Tramonto on Rambouillet, and I got 4 ounces of River Run on, I think, Targhee. This is a guess. I'm not 100% positive that this is Targhee. And then I got 4 ounces of this pink thing on, I think, maybe Targhee as well. I'm pretty sure these are the same. I don't actually know. Brie had some stuff there that was not labeled, and so I don't actually know if this is officially one of her colorways or this was like a test batch or something. I don't know. She did tell me that this was River Run, and I missed out on figuring out what this is, but they're beautiful, and I love them all. So that was 12 more ounces in. Okay, we got them back in safely. So that means that in April, I brought in 16 ounces of fiber. So a pound. I brought in a pound of fiber in April. I had nothing go out in April. I didn't start any new projects. And then in May, I didn't bring in any fiber or remove any fiber from my stash. In June, I also did not bring in any fiber, but I did remove 4 ounces when I made this correspondent yarn. So that's 4 ounces out in June. So we don't have very hard numbers to work with for our fiber. Like I said, I started the year with 42.3 ounces. I have brought in 16 ounces and I've removed 4 ounces. So I am left with 54.3 ounces of fiber in my stash. So where do we go from here? 33 skeins left and 54 ounces of fiber left. Honestly, I feel like I'm not going to be doing anything that makes huge headway anytime soon. So I think we're probably going to be pretty stagnant here. I would love to get back under the 30 skeins, but there's nothing in here that I'm really planning to work with in the immediate future. Maybe, you know, here or there I might like grab a skein of sock weight for a hat or something for like on the go knitting, but I don't really have any big plans for any of this, and it's almost entirely single skeins in here. So we will see how that goes. For spinning, the Tour de Fleece is coming up, but I am also currently in the middle of quite a big spin. So I don't know when I will be getting to more spinning or how soon I will be able to decrease this number, but also once I finish that big spin, I'm going to have quite a bit of yarn that ends up in my yarn stash. So I guess we're gonna just keep trucking along. It doesn't feel like it's very exciting because not much is happening, but I still love tracking it. I'm probably gonna still do my third quarter wrap up and my end of the year wrap up, but then I think we'll maybe think about how we're gonna do things from now on with the stash tracking. I do love it. I have fun, but I don't know, we're kind of stagnating, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a new phase of the stash journey, right? I have 2 quick reminders for you before we go. The first is that the tracker that I use for my stash tracking is available for you. I use the program Notion to keep track of every little bit of my stash and honestly the rest of my life too. But I have a free simplified version of my stash tracker that you can download for yourself if you would like to test it out and organize a little bit of your stash digitally. And I also have the exact tracker that I use that's more advanced and has all the formulas and everything is $5, and the links for both of those will be down below. Also, if you want a little inside scoop on what I plan to be working on for the next quarter. I just shared a video with my Patreon members talking about all of my plans. So I am me, so things are probably gonna change and I'm probably gonna throw some curveballs in there, but most of my plans for the summer have been shared with my Patreon, so if you want to know what I have planned to do with these things, you can go check that out there. Thank you so, so much to my Patreon supporters. I love you dearly, and thank you to you for being here and supporting me and watching all of my videos, or any of my videos, or some of my videos. Whatever you do, I'm grateful for you. Anyway, thank you so much, and until next time, take care of you, and I will see you later. Bye!